go take her back to Miss Mary for me?
In our story today from God's Word, the Bible, those disciples were having a really huge problem. Sometimes we hear that story 2,000 years later and we're like, and then Jesus calmed the sea and everything was great. But those disciples were terrified. They didn't even ask Jesus for help when they woke him up. They just said, "Don't you care we're gonna die?" They thought their lives were at risk and they were not gonna make it. They had a really, really big problem. They were afraid that they were going to sink. But they were in the boat with who? Jesus. And even though they were surrounded by the stormy water and their problem was really, really huge, they had the creator of the universe, Jesus, right there in the boat with them. Their problems were ginormous. Jesus was right there with them the whole time.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another wonderful day of VBS. I have with me here Julie Eaton and Tana Heft, who are our opener and closer every day for VBS. So Julie, you open up. What's it called when we start off the day?
Well, it's called Sing and Play Blast. You have to say that slow because it doesn't.
Splash.
Yes, sing and play splash. So anyway, we start by singing first of all, and then we have prayer, and then we do Bible buddies and the verse of the day, and yeah.
So is it real? How crucial is it to kind of get the kids fired up and ready for what they're about to experience today? I mean, is it really super important?
Well, yeah, because there are so many, the dynamics are so wonderful because it's like you can get everybody involved. It's like the more people you have, the more involved they all like to be. And so it's just more fun when there's a lot more people so that you can feel God's love through all of the things that they scream about.
yeah. And I love how there's so many little anecdotes and stories that you even share to just kind of help get things connected about, just the overall theme for the day, and then get everyone, kicked off on just different God sightings that, they have seen or what they will see today. So I think that's really amazing. And then they go out, of course, throughout the day, do the different stations and hear different stories. And then we come back in for the closing, which is, what's that called, Tana?
That's the Fantastic Finale. And I sometimes have to look at the sign because every year those names change just a little bit, but because we're all things Scuba, Fantastic Finale is our name this year. And I do the opposite of Julie, not really, but it is kind of, I don't have any problem with people coming in hyped up because many times they're coming from games or snack, or it doesn't matter where they're coming from. They're all hyped up. So you get 300 bodies that have been kind of wide open for a couple hours. There's not really much trouble getting them hyped up.
Yeah. And I love how you do a lot of different illustrations to kind of help prove the point. So how crucial is what you do every evening? I know some don't go as planned or the way you would like them to, but how crucial is to kind of, and it's always a biblical element, but you show a lot of practical things that pushes that biblical moment. So how crucial is that moment? Because I know they do come in wound up, but you try to bring them back down to really drive the point across. How important is that?
I mean, I think that's kind of super important as they're walking out the door, going back into the world. And, we've been in this little scuba bubble for 3 hours. And I really feel like you have to look at it as the week as a whole and their spiritual journey as a whole. I really feel like they have to learn certain things, like the Bible's absolutely, positively, 100% true.
I love that. And you do that. It's not in the script, but you do that every year. I love that.
And it kind of stuck. And I feel like, I think because I also work with older kids, that's going to get challenged in their lives. Somebody's going to say, does the Bible really say whatever? And so I think that is huge. I want them to see that the Bible story isn't something that just happened in story room. It's something that happens in our day-to-day lives and how important that is. And we do have fun experiments and illustrations, and today's was a little bit of a flop, but that happens occasionally, even though it worked and then didn't work a few times. But God always just redeems it, and it probably won't be the last time something doesn't work as Group says it does, our publishing company. But God is, today it was about God is a friend we can trust, and he calms the storm sometimes, and sometimes he calms our hearts in the midst of the storm. And what a great life lesson for adults and crew leaders of all ages in the room, as well as our kids as they walk out the door. So that's just an example. Yeah,
and I think that's so important from the beginning all the way to the end. It's reinforcing that message, it's reinforcing some important things that they can take into their lives. So thank you, ladies, so much. As we look at the rest of this week of VBS, we have start strong in the beginning, get them ready, get them prepped, have amazing stuff throughout the day, and then finishing them off with just awesome, just take-home message and kind of rounding everything up. So thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for the rest of the week.
Thanks, God.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, God.